Okay, so we made our first character here. I named him Omar Oobsrek. Omar Oobsrek. And I will be working on his false identity and his spells in just a little bit. I will also be buying some equipment and other things with the 15 gold that he has. So, something to hang on to for right now. It's like a rating for some movie or a game. So the different faces of the die are the rating for different product is what you're saying? Memory? Alright. Here is a brand new Char Actor sheet. Let's roll percentile and find out. Ooh, a little bit of sourness, you know, it like hits the back of your throat and your throat goes Death count, I see you. What's going on? Percentile. Oh, I have to it's half plus 1 plus the con modifier. So half of 8 is 4 plus 1 is 5 plus the extra 2 from Constitution. So this should be at 17. There we go. Thank you, sir. Percentile. Do we have a boy or a girl? 2. We have a female character who is a D10. 4. Human. And what kind of human? Evens. We have a standard human. So this is the one that gets +1 to all ability scores. Her alignment is going to be 2 percentiles. 5195, that is going to be chaotic neutral. We're also medium-sized as a human. Her level is going to be based on a percentile roll. A 50. Her level is going to be 12. Now, as you get stat bumps at 4, 8, and 12, that means we have the possibility of getting up to 3 feats instead of stat bumps. I'm going to roll a percentile and find out if that's going to be the case. 39? Nope, we're going pure ability score increases. Her background is a D13. 10. Sage. She is a sage. There are 6 origins for a sage. And we're going to roll and find out which one she's going to get. 1d6. She gets number 6. I don't know what that means yet, but we'll just hang on to it. Personality traits, 2d8. 4 and 4, okay. Well, she's really number 4, whatever that is. 4 and 1. This will make her a little bit more multifaceted. And then 3d6 for the rest of her personality. 4, 6, and 2. Uh-oh. Memory lapse has been timed out for 6 seconds. Reason? Around here we speak common. You are stunned for 1 round. Ooh. Yeah, that's that's quite the prodigious link. Death count, so memory. Memory count provided a link that is occupying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines of of link code. And so the bot said that he was being a very bad boy. D20, rated D20, full frontal nerdity. Violence, grisly images, language, random encounters, and dragons. Oh, look at... King. Yeah, it is the heinous crime. King, what is your opinion or your profession's opinion on the Oxford comma? It is not here. Is that proper? From what I was told by a friend who works at the local paper, they do not use Oxford commas. Is that not a thing anymore? Are we comma free? Is that the way to be? Let's see. D12. Is it going to be a bard? I don't know. We're going to roll it and see if it lands on 2. 1. Ooh, a barbarian. And which kind of barbarian? An evens kind of barbarian. That's a totem warrior. King says, always use a comma. You never know when you'll want the protection. Raikon, welcome back. And Mola Mulkua, welcome. Aloha to you. Or Alola if you prefer. By the way, if any of you play Pokemon Go, you can find the Alolan form executors wandering around, and they look terrifying. If you were actually walking around in that world, ooh, that'd be something. It's a warm evening. Got a nice big pitcher of lemonade. I'm storing some of it in my mustache for later, you know, as an emergency reserve. Alright, so we have a Totem Warrior Barbarian. And now let's get some physical stats in for her. She is going to start at 4'8", and we're going to give her 2d10 inches. 17 on her height. So that is going to be 6'3". We're going to take that same 17 and we are going to multiply it by 2d4. 8. Alright, so 6, carry the 5. 136. So she's 246 pounds. Yep, mustaches and beards are awesome for that memory. Raikon, that form is a dragon type. Yeah. Yeah, it's, I caught one when I was on my way home from board game night at the library. Let's see if I can show off the, There it is there. Pokemon Go, my fire department had to scream at them to remove our fire department front. Were you getting a lot of people visiting you? There you go. I mean, you could spin it so its little tail thingy do is looking at you. But it is very horrifying. Darkwolf says, so my boss said I could get into Colossal Con for free since the company I work for also runs the Kalahari Arcade. I'm skeptical, but I'm still hoping it's true. Wouldn't that be nice, though, Darkwolf? Bubonic one. Okay, that was the comment about the fire department. And Memory Lab. Some people host D&D games for their colleagues at work. Oh, really? People? Oh my gosh, Bubonic. That's a problem. How old is our barbarian? 1. She is a child prodigy barbarian. 6'3", 246 pounds of 13-year-old fury. Now, this is where, if you might have remembered, no, wasn't this last week? I think it might have been the week before, where we might do something like take off height and weight if we roll a child prodigy or maybe even a young adult or something along those lines. You know, where we could probably cut this in half or something along those lines. I don't know. This would be an excellent case, right? Because you do have child prodigies, wizards, or in this case, barbarians. Look at our Volos party where we had at least two of them, 2 Yuan-Ti child prodigies rolling around. Yeah, right, Con. This is a it'll be like the Kana from Dragon's Maid here rolling around as a barbarian. She's just gonna be absolutely savage. So for a human, we are going to roll a d6. Whoop. I rolled 3 of them, but the first roll was a 4. Oh, so we're at 13. So in this case, she's probably a little bit more like 4'3", and she's probably a little bit more like almost like dwarf right now. As a 13-year-old girl, she's like, yeah, she has some, maybe a little splash of dwarven blood in her or something. So we can modify this to fit. There could be a backstory on why she's so big at her age. Family tree might be... Yeah, that's true. I mean, she could have a touch of giant in her. She could have succumbed to some kind of magical effect. Maybe her mom was going through a rough like pregnancy or childbirth, and so a cleric or a medicine man of her barbarian tribe or something along those lines cast magic to keep her preserved and healthy. And it just caused rapid growth. So there's nothing saying that we can't keep it at, 246 and 6'3". We can do that if you think that is a further storytelling. Like, why would we get someone like this? Okay, let's think about it. We'll put on our creative caps. We're not afraid of handling this. A drop of the giant's blood might be in there too. Kind of like there's some people in the Game of Thrones world, they have some giant's blood in them. Okay, now she is a totem warrior barbarian, but she is no fool. In fact, she is a sage. She has studied. She is a child prodigy, after all. She is proficient. Specifically at, let's see, sage number. Oh, this is actually a D8. Not a D6. I only rolled a 6. So I'm going to roll a D8 here instead, and we're going to take this number. Otherwise, we're limiting ourselves. We still got a 6. For sure, the cosmic forces that be want her to be a researcher. She researches something. Maybe she's researching her heritage. You want to talk about an interesting, like a coming of age or a puberty. When you're over 6 feet tall and you're built like a, built like a truck, and you have classmates, you have other boys and girls who look at you and you're like, oh, you're a freak. Well, you know what? She's intelligent, at least to a degree better than others. And she's gonna have strength where it counts, for sure, mental and physical. This is gonna be a tough chica, so maybe she wants to research her own past or research what happened in life. Memory says, I say for a character so unique, instead of using the standard array, we use the point buy system. I'm not necessarily against it, memory lapse. In my own bias, I don't like the point buy system. Also, I don't like the roll system either. This is my personal bias. I'm not unwilling to try it, and because we do use the standard array normally. And you make a good point, so I think that's something that we can explore. I'll go back and bring that page up. I just don't have a lot of practice with it, and we can go from there. King says, speaking of thick, that feel when I've got 3 different girls interested in watching my D&D session, and I've written all 3 of them as maids in my backstory without their consent or the DM knowing the specific relation. Sup, girl? You know you're an NPC in my campaign. Research the ways of barbarians. Yeah, maybe she's on the inside. Ten out of 10 move. No way for this to fail. I'll let you know if it ever pays off. Please do, King. Speaking of research, so King is going on an anthropological adventure, a sociological adventure even, and is going undercover to see if making someone you're interested in an NPC in your campaign could win you brownie points. No, we can do that memory lapse. I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't readily come to mind. So it is kind of a moment where I'm put on the spot. I certainly don't mind the suggestion, but yeah, we'll go there. We have an interesting character. We'll explore this alternate route. Bubonic one is not confident in King's game. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of the standard array. We're gonna get to it in a little bit anyway, since we have to still fill in a little bit more here. She has skill proficiencies in Arcana and History. We get 2 languages of our choice. All right, so by virtue of being a human, we get Common and we get something else. Now, by being a Sage, we get 2 other something elses. I'm going to indicate those with question marks, so that way we can come back to it. We have Ink and Quill. We have a small Kniff. A letter from a dead colleague posing a question you have not yet been able to answer. Ooh, that's a mouthful, and very convenient for every Sage to have is a dead partner in research. We can condense this down into a concept of some kind of ongoing research or question. Does your colleague have to be dead? No. Yeah, but it's a good adventure prompt and something that's, I would argue, a little bit more homework for your DM than for you up front. As well, we get some common clothes and a belt pouch containing 10 gold. We get the background feature of being a researcher, which is redundant because we are a researcher in our specialty. Hey, Wasabi. You want some Baba Ganoush in the inventory. Uh-oh, Donald has been summoned as King's unearthly mentor, who broke King's gambling habit by making him realize that he doesn't belong on a material plane that even has gambling, as King lies outside even chance. It's good to see you, Wasabi. Thanks for stopping by and being a part of the channel again. And Thank you for letting me borrow that charger the other day. All right, what do we have? As a researcher, again, this is kind of a partnership between you and the DM. Your DM will tell you or give you hints at where you could find knowledge regarding different topics, or if such knowledge is completely off the table. Her personality traits are as such, number 4 and 1. There's nothing I like more than a good mystery like Zoinks. As well, I use polysyllabic words that convey the impression of great erudition. Ideals, number 4. No limits. Nothing should fetter the infinite possibility inherent in all existence. Woo, all right, so she is okay, so she is this child prodigy. She's 13. She is just too damn swole as a totem warrior barbarian, who's also a sage researcher. Pardon me. You know, she is just she will be dominant. She's not a trifling lolly for sure. You know, we talk about anime tropes, or if we make groups that are like one guy and 4 girls, and we're like, it's a romantic comedy harem anime party. And you know how you have that, you know, because usually they're the ones with like the spiraling blonde hair and and they're the ones who have to like always go around and like spread rumors and secrets because they're jealous of the main character. I don't think she's the trifling type. Oh, and Donald, you did get to start your campaign with your ASMR. That's excellent. If you want to give an update here, or even in Tales from the Tabletop, I'd love either way for me to, and others here, to learn how you've been doing with that. Has that character been performing for you? Is it what you'd hoped? Eltreon, hey, hello, hooray, sound. Oh my gosh, Eltreon, I look and I feel so much better. Last week was just like, because I was already on top of, because of Sophie, and everything is fine. Oh my gosh, I'm so much better. Thank you for saying so, Eltreon. Oh, that reminds me too, Eltreon, I don't know how much time you have tonight. When we finish this character, I wanted to talk to you about an art concept project. And, I mean, if there's other artists out there, too, that want to get in on it, it's not like some super secret project or something. But it was an idea for a character that I thought would be interesting. And I wanted to talk to you all about it. Coffee Cat, hey, you know what, Coffee? I saw that you posted in the Twitch section that you were broadcasting, and unfortunately I didn't get the opportunity before having to start this broadcast to come and say hi. But thank you for sharing that, and I hope your session went really well. Okay, Bonds is number 6. I sold my soul for knowledge. I hope to do great deeds and win it back. Well, we have a little bit of a mystery then. Perhaps that explains, given, you know, she's a child prodigy, well, do we want to take this literally? Did she literally sell her soul? Or is this a metaphorical, I gave up on a lot of opportunities, or something along those lines? Oh, yeah, Coffee, I saw what you had put up in... let's see. Yeah, was it this one? That's pretty good. Raikon says, do you think a Kenku could get an idol or enchanted item that can nullify the speech curse? Just for one... Well, I mean, it's a game of imagination. If you talk to your DM about it, Raikon, then hopefully she or he... Oh, jeez, King just... King uploaded his tale from the tabletop about his Cleric of Baylor. Hey, it could be possible, though. I mean, part of the fun in the challenge is the speech, you know, is overcoming that. So it's really up to you and your DM, Raikon. That is the one, Eltreon, that's fine. Got a copy of the 5e Player's Handbook, and I've just been reading through it to make sure that all the stuff I've been reading was accurate or not, so I'll be free to talk concept art with you later. No problem. Eltreon, thank you. Coffee Cat, I don't see why Kenku wouldn't develop a sign language. Or, as Darkwolf pointed out, if they could take on the woodpecker's way of communicating, which is beating their head against a piece of wood 16 times a second. So maybe they come up with some kind of Kenku code. You know, like some sort of a Morse code or something. Our character's flaw is 2. Most people scream and run when they see a demon. I stop and take notes on its anatomy. Oh my, child, oh my. Well, you know, off for the lore. The lore says that Kenku have this communication issue. So by default, yes. At the same time, this is a world of magic and mystery and infinite possibility of the imagination. And even if we just stop and say it's a world of magic, that's all you need to explain really anything. Oh yeah, the I can talk, can you fly, Darkwolf? Kenku code, I like the sound of that. That could go beyond just language. Okay, it is easy being a human because you just get some basic things. That's going to be 1 to each of our ability score, our ability scores. We don't get dark vision. We have 30 feet of movement, and we're a medium-sized creature. Whoop-de-doo. So now let's go to classes. Barbarian, yes. Here we go. Nice and simple because, look, barbarians, they keep it direct. Our proficiency bonus at level 12 is going to be 4. We're gonna get some things as well. We are a big whopping D12. We're gonna be 12 D12 actually. You cannot ignore the girth of our hit dice. Eltron says, oddly enough, I know exactly what King's Tale from the Tabletop is about. It was a rough from entertaining situation to get to listen in on. Oh, 1 crit! Hey, thank you very much. How did your TOA game go? The current one you were playing tonight, because I'm no longer whacked out of my gourd due to being sick. A lot of lore stuff is really to flavor, make interesting challenges. Yep, Coffee, I do agree. Rough but entertaining. Ostomer, good morning from Hungary. Whoa, Ostomer, that is really cool. Good morning to you as well. Welcome. I have some very cold lemonade. So, cheers. Salute to you. Ostomer, do you play D&D often or other role-playing games? One crit. We almost died to zombies, and then we almost died to zombies. Oh, that sounds like a very abbreviated tale from the tabletop. Coffee says, I would say it's safe to assume that if this curse is ancient, they would have come up with some way to communicate with each other, or if it's recent, then it could be overcoming. Bubonic One, we're going to do a point-buy system at the request of Memory Lapse. Because we have a very odd character, we're going to go outside the normal distribution of the standard array. One crit continues, and then we almost died to weird fungus that was controlling the zombies. Alright, Dark Wolf, do what you gotta do. See you back here. King also is replying to Eltron. I felt a bit rushed. If I had gone through with the other part of my plan to cast Doom on the Bugbear, he would have failed his save and not have killed that guy. I'm sorry your session didn't go as planned, King. Our armor proficiencies are light and medium as well. We are good with shields. Oh, weapons. Simple weapons and martial weapons. No tool proficiencies. Saving throws. Strength and con. Skills. Animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. Let's look down here. There's nothing like there's nothing I like more than a good mystery. Nothing should fetter the infinite possibility inherent in all existence. I sold my soul for knowledge. I hope to do great deeds to win it back. Big Joe, hey. You work early? Oh, well, thank you for at least popping in and saying something. Have a good night. And she stops and takes notes on demonic anatomy. Nothing like a good mystery. So probably animal handling and nature, right? If she's not afraid to, like wrestle something down to be able to take notes on it, or to try and calm it, or whatever. And knowledge nature, because she is a smarty pants despite being a barbarian. Not all barbarians are illiterate and and just, me hit things hard. Me barbarian. King says, it's fine. I should have thought of what to do if we failed. One of the players was harassed endlessly by his baby, and the other had a death in the family. My nerd hobby throttled by both ends of the entropic cycle of decay. Oh yeah, that is unfortunate circumstances, King. You gave it a good try, King. That's what counts most. Well, King, you did put a lot of effort and research into it, and unfortunately, those things can happen. Eltron, your continued positivity is also very welcome. Thank you for that. A great axe or any martial melee weapon, 2 hand axes, or a simple weapon, an explorer's pack, and 4 javelins. Well, let's do the explorer's pack. We have javelin X4. We have hand axe X2. What would be a good weapon to give a character like this? She's a sage researcher. She's a child prodigy. Someone who just wants to nothing I like more than a good mystery and no limits. Nothing should fetter the infinite possibility. Sold my soul for knowledge. Most people scream and run when they see a demon. I stop and take notes on its anatomy. A battle axe, a flail. Maybe a glaive? Ooh, a glaive could be interesting. Oh, pardon me. Or a pike could be interesting, because that's a long distance poking stick. Alright, you poke people from 10 feet away with it. Hey, you. What's going on? Or what's that thing? Poke, poke, poke. Let's give her a pike. That seems cool. 1d10 piercing. Hand axes are d4s if I recall. No, d6s. 1d6. We'll figure out our strength here. Javelins are going to be 1d6 piercing. Piercing, slashing, piercing. Oh, God Revan Ryu. I have a question to the streamer. Do you know anyone that had a community that was called TGM Empire and had Sir Wadsworth as its bot? Looking for a specific streamer I accidentally unfollowed. They used to play D&D a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not aware of that person, Revan. King says there's a streamer known as Sir Wadsworth. Oh, but that person's not him. So doing a little bit of investigative twitching. King says he follows this guy, typical GM, which sounds like TGM. Hey, there you go. Well, King, thank you for being able to help out God Revan. And God Revan, hey, even if you're just stopping in to ask that question, you're still welcome to the community, and I'm glad we were able to help you get to where you're looking to go. King, yeah, King kind of floats around everywhere. He's become rather existential lately. God, you're very welcome for all that I've done for you. No. Seriously, though. I'm happy that we were able to be a medium or like some sort of hub world for you to get this information. Linger as long as you want, or if you've popped in and you're good to go, look, we did you a good service, and come back whenever you'd like. King says, I may have gone there and chanted TPK now that I think of it. Bubonic One, to address that, you said 15, 12, 13, 13, 11, 9. Was that the point buy that you're suggesting that we give her? That fits in the budget of 27 points. Alright, we have given her a weapon. Let's continue here, Barbarian. She is going to get to rage. She smolders with generic rage. She's also going to get unarmored defense. So if she's just if she's running around in her skivvies, she has all the AC that she'll need. Right? You get a nice you get con and dex together, and put them together. What do you got? A decent AC, even if you're not wearing armor. Reckless attack. That is you get advantage on the attacks that you make, but people attacking you get advantage on you because you're swinging wildly. We also are going to get Danger Sense. we can react to things better if we can see them coming. Barbarians are classically trap finders and disablers, not in the same way that rogues are. Rogues actually find and actually disable them. Rogues just sort of bait them out, and when, you know, the mimic clamps onto its arm, you know, he just flexes the forearm and breaks the thing's jaw, therefore disabling the trap. We will get our primal path at level 3, though we're not worried about going into that just yet. We're going to get an extra attack and fast movement and feral instinct. Extra attack's easy, extra movement, that's easy. We're going to adjust our speed accordingly. Feral instinct, we have advantage on initiative rolls, and if we're surprised at the beginning of combat and aren't incapacitated, we can act normally during our first turn. But only if you enter your rage before doing anything else. We are going to also get brutal critical. Oops. Relentless rage. You keep fighting despite grievous wounds. If you, pardon me, if you drop to 0 hit points while you're raging, you don't die outright. Oh, pardon me, you can make a DC 10 con saving throw, which should be easy, but should. And we're just shy, well, we're not just shy, but we do not have persistent rage just yet. Ooh, Barbarian gives you a lot of stuff. By the way, if we go back up here, you can see that by 12th level, we can rage 5 times a day. Or for long rest, if you want to put it that way. Our rage damage goes up to +3. And with the fast movement, our speed increases by 10 feet if we're not wearing heavy armor. This goes to 40, and therefore our climb and our swim go to 20. Because we're just that good. King's providing a link. Eltreon says, have you ever been called GRR for short? Then you could team up with someone named RAR for the lulz. Oh, for Gurral. Gurrar. Actually, I have. Well, most of the time it's been GR. Well, I'll remember that too. If you're coming to hang out, I will do my best to remember GR. Okay, you must step away for the moment. The chat has become too red. Oh, that's true. So, well, Eltron kind of broke it up, and Bubonic won. Well, in at least in red versus blue. Well, okay, in my display, Bubonic one's shown up as pink, although it looks like he might be orangish. In either case, it's light red, quote unquote. All right, she is going the path of the Totem Warrior. She's going to get a Totem Spirit at level 3. You must make or acquire a physical totem object, an amulet, or similar adornment. And we will get to get an ability at 3, 6, and 10. Bear, eagle, wolf. So let's just roll randomly for this, right? No reason not to. We have a D3, and so she is going to get a 2. Her Totem Spirit is an eagle. Her aspect of the beast is something. And she is going to get Spirit Walker. At 10th level, you can cast the Commune with Nature spell, but only as a ritual. When you do so, a spiritual version of one of the animals you chose for Totem Spirit or aspect of the beast appears to you to convey the information you seek. Let's roll the D3 for her aspect of the beast. Also 2, so she is eagle all the way. She is an Eagle Scout. Because you gain the eyesight of an eagle, you can see up to 1 mile away with no difficulty. Able to discern even fine details as though looking through more than something 100 feet away from you. Additionally, dim light doesn't impose disadvantage on your perception checks. So we have a kind of dark vision-ish. It is dim vision. And the first eagle, while you're raging and aren't wearing heavy armor, other creatures have a disadvantage on opportunity attacks against you, and you can use the dash action as a bonus action on your turn. The spirit of the eagle makes you into a predator who can weave through the fray with ease. Now, in the lore or in the description, yes, we have a young female human. And this could also be a point of our research, is this tribe, these people who worship these animals and these totems. And she is supposed to be taking on aspects or looks of the animals that she's invoking. Now, does a bear have to be a bear? No. It could be another kind of big, tough, grumpy animal like a moose or whatever. An eagle could be something else that conveys this type of effect. But this would mean that while she looks human, she'd have maybe these kind of like golden eagle eyes, or she might actually she might actually grow, instead of throughout her hair, she might start growing some feathers, or she might get a tuft of feathers around her neck or around her wrists, something that's cosmetic, to show that she is not just a human. She is this blend of this magical physical prowess. Oh yeah, so like a tiger for a bear instead. Exactly, bubonic one. Or a wolverine. Virus, thank you for the follow and for coming along on the journey. If there's anything that you want to discuss that's RP-wise, are you a newcomer? Do you have questions? Do you want help? Or have you been playing for 20 years and you know all this and you just want to hang out with a bunch of other RPers or even help newcomers yourself? You are welcome to do so, and you are a part of the community. Thank you. Coffee Cat, yes, that was a red versus blue reference, because Bubonic 1 is light red on my display. In other words, pink. You're new to the stream. You've been playing for 15-ish years now. Well, you're new to the stream, but if you've been role-playing, then I think you're going to find a good home here, Virus. We're a bunch of other players of different levels of experience as players and or as DMs. And not just DMs for D&D, but you have people here who've played in World of Darkness games, maybe even some LARPs. I've played Eclipse Phase. We have people here who play Made RPG. There's all kinds of role players who are here. So pull up a chair, you're sitting at a table in a game store, and hey, be a part of what we have going on. You may be new to the channel, but if you have wisdom and experience, funny tales, cautionary tales, DuckTales, woohoo, then you are welcome to share them, and you don't need to earn seniority here or anything. If you want to be a part of the community, you can do so. And if anyone out there is just lurking, you can lurk as well. Just kind of catch information in the background. But that's great. Virus, you and I have been playing for about the same amount of time. Coffee Cat, all right, you're gonna head off to bed. Thank you. And by the way, Coffee Cat, and for others, here we go. Thank you for sharing. Eltrion, if you're still around, you share your art. Dark Wolf and others. Derek, if you're still here, Derek is sharing. Romantic, whoa, hey, good morning to you, Romantic. Storm here shared some character art too. I love the poison dart frog kind of Sherlock Holmes thing going on. It's amazing. So if you all would like to become a part of what we do, even when I'm not streaming, you can be a part of this community and engage in the conversation and fun and the tutoring or mentoring of new role players. You know, or you don't have to, but if you want to, you can get involved in that way as well. And just like with the channel, keep it PG-13, and if your handle is different on Discord than it is on Twitch, just make sure that you've changed your nickname on Discord to match your Twitch one. That way I can line you up easier and we can have some consistency in conversation. Virus, I don't think I ever was asked what kind of virus I would be. Something gnarly like Ebola. So we have the bubonic plague and now an Ebola virus kind of floating around. Donald McGoober, the first session of my campaign went well. I like that my DM is keeping things unpredictable. A lot of the interaction is impromptu, and it's helping me get into the RP better. Yes, you may feel on the spot, but look, in that case, just say something. What's the first thing that seems to make sense? If you're trusting your DM to help you to connect the dots, throw some dots out there. That's great, Donald. Alright, so it was brought up to use the point buy system for this character because we're doing things, I don't know, she's a little different, right? We rolled the slim chance that she was a child prodigy, so she's 13, but when we look at human stats, we got pretty high numbers. So if she's 13, then she has been drinking her milk because she is 6'3", 246 pounds. Ooh, yeah. Big old barbarian. At the same time, she's also a researcher sage. And so something could have happened, and maybe she took on these forms as she was becoming a part of this tribe. Maybe the tribe actually, I don't know, took her in. It could almost be like the 7 of 9 story, right? Her parents were researchers exploring the Borg, and, well, the Borg kind of, you know, bye-bye. And they took her as part of the Borg collective, and therefore she was modified by them. And so maybe these totemic barbarians did the same thing, and by like unleashing this animalistic whatever, it accelerated her growth. And so she's still smart, right? Her parents taught her logical thinking, and she has their books that she can reference, but her body was modified by this. By these rituals and by the diet of these people and the physical activity of these people. Rogue Infinity, hello to you. Donald says, oddly enough, my party is being led by a Tabaxi rogue, but once I feel more comfortable, I'll probably take over. Yeah, you just, you know, blend into it. You get a sense for things, but don't be afraid to dip your toe in the pool, and then just continue to put your foot in. So, Lieutenant Virus, I was airborne in the Army, so I guess that works. So, Lieutenant Virus is the hantavirus, according to King. Rogue, it is, this week is going so much better. I feel so much better after getting over this cold. I've had closure from the loss of the cat. I actually picked up her ashes today, and she's sitting over here right off to the side. So emotionally and physically, like, I'm so much better. And look, you all are here. It's a Tuesday night, and there's we have a decent amount of people hanging out in chat and talking. And I'm so joyous and ready for the week. I'm pumped up. Also, Lieutenant Virus, then, thank you for your service in the military. And thank you for that sentiment, Rogue. Donald McGoober, I like entertaining with a cannonball. I'm good friends with my DM, and he's testing me pretty frequently to help me keep on my toes and absorb as much as possible. Well, Virus, look, she was 13, and, the week leading up to it, it happened quickly. I mean, gradually every day of the week, but quickly in the course of a week. And it wasn't this past Friday, but it was the Friday before then, and, took her to the vet. They saw her, and they just said it's probably for the best, and, I have no regrets. I have no regrets for what happened. She's in a better place than she would have been otherwise, I think. But it hurts, right? 13 years, and there's people that there's the ones of you out there you've had pets for longer. Dogs that have lived 15, 16. In fact, her urn is going to sit next to Bagheera, who is a black cat that we owned here. In fact, he was a holdover from when my father was still alive. And we ended up having to put him to sleep when he was around 16. He was 15 or 16 years old. That was tough, too, especially because of the memories of my father associated with the cat. And, so kind of now that other bridge is gone with Sophie. But you know what? They're together, they're looked after, and they're still thought of and loved. So it's the best of the worst situation. 13, yep, that is a good run. She certainly lived a good life. She's as healthy as we could keep her. She was spoiled, and absolutely adored. Yeah, things in life can happen, Revan Rio, or I'm sorry, GR. People move, or life, like vocations happen, or relationships. You might get new responsibilities, like there might be a child or a pet, or just something is going on, or people say, look, streaming is messing with a relationship of some kind, and relationship is greater than streaming. But King, that's really nice of you to still be able to help out GR in that. Donald, you're gonna get ready for bed. Okay, no problem, man. Bubonic one. Oh yeah, you have the 16-year-old dachshund. He's doing better, but the vet says a year at best. Yeah. So, prepare now and make this that one, hell of a year, Bubonic one. All right, so this is the variant on instead of using the standard array. Pardon me. That's not me getting weepy. I had a summer cold that I was fighting all last week, and now like the cold is over, but my body's like, clean out everything, and so I'm a little sniffly from that. At your DM's option, you can use this variant for determining your ability scores. The method described here allows you to build a character with a set of ability scores you choose individually. You have 27 points to spend on your ability scores. The cost of each score is shown on the ability score point cost table. For example, a score of 14 costs 7 points. Using this method, 15 is the highest ability score you can end up with before applying racial increases. You can't have a score lower than 8. This method of determining ability scores enables you to create a set of 3 high numbers and 3 low ones. So you could go 3 15s and 3 8s. A set of numbers that are above average and nearly equal, 13 13 13, 12 12 12, or any set of numbers between those extremes. Bubonic One had used a calculator that he listed over in the chat here, and made the following suggestion for this character for her point buy starting scores. And there we go. You had wanted it to be 15 strength, 12 dex, 13 con, 13 int because she is a sage, 11 wisdom, and 9 charisma. Yeah, don't blow yourself out, Eltron. Take a look at it, absorb some information, think about it, connect it to other things. That's the best way you can try and build a repertoire of images and rules and other content. A little bit at a time, compare it to other things, make those some extra little folds in your brain and make some connections. And then, read the next part and then connect it back to everything, connect it back to everything, and connect it back to everything. Well, GR, sounds like you're going on an epic quest, right? You're off to find this long lost entertainer or mentor or whatever this person is or meant to you, is or was, and so enjoy, treat it like that quest, right? Do some research, go out on a limb. What's the worst that happens? Roll investigation. Bubonic one. Okay, no, you said that. Eltron is going to take the break. King says, I like the idea of rolling for stats. It means I can implement some sort of eugenics program by keeping a random stat from the parent the same. No, so you don't mind taking, like if you get, like a 6 in something, then you're like, yeah, that's fine. I'll roll with it. It is a roleplay opportunity, that's for certain, if you have like a really low stat. I would just get worried, I'm not even worried about low stats, because I think low stats can be more fun to play with, because you tend to be, look, you're not as advantaged, so you have to be a lot more creative. I would actually be worried that, someone comes rolling in and, has a bunch of 18s and 17s, you're like, yeah, I don't have anything less than a 16, and you're like, statistically, in the grand scheme of things, yes, it is possible for that to happen, but dude. Okay, so Lieutenant Virus is saying, I think swap wisdom and charisma. She's young, right? Not wise in the world yet, but a strong force of personality if she is a prodigy. We can do that. This is interactive. This is not my character. This is our character, and we can all, leave a fingerprint on this character. So that, you know what? You made a suggestion, Lieutenant. You backed it up with a good reason that made sense. Sure, we can swap that around. King says, do the Pokemon thing and have a character who has max IVs or all 18s, but only after... Oh, yeah, so just treat it like Pokemon, right? Where you're like very... You don't even want to use bottle caps. Who uses bottle caps? That's just lazy. No, I'm going to breed 4,000 Pokemon and get these. You'll have like the purest strain of like Pukumukus ever. Eltran wishes GR best of luck. Much appreciated in reply. Bubonic says, I have a 5-year-old dachshund. Got him because he was a rescue. He was 7.5 pounds when I got him. That's 55% what a mini should weigh. Oh. GR, if nothing comes out of it, shrugs. I'll just try and find another active D&D streamer. Well, there's plenty. Lots of different content. People playing through different mods. You have some voice actors who are playing in different channels. You may have noticed that this channel's a little bit different. This is D&D. We're talking D&D. In some ways, we're playing D&D. Just not on like an active heads-up virtual tabletop. But this community it's D&D 101. It's a community. It's chat. It's helping people. It's communal storytelling that's done without the need for an adventure set directly in front of us. Because the adventure is these characters, or it's the maps that we make. It's the campaigns that we will provide outlines for and take a journey through. That is us playing D&D and storytelling here, GR. Memory Lapse says, I had a friend that had to put down a 16-year-old boxer black lab mix. The dog was born with water on the brain and a heart murmur. Oh, yeah, Sophie had a heart murmur too, like a little one, and I think that's what led to the water around her lungs, or the fluids. The dog, in addition, was allergic to literally everything under the sun except the bare essentials. Every time the vet said he only had a few months left, the dog made the vet eat his own words. How did he live so long? Love. There you go, memory. That's a good lesson. GR, well, stick around. A few of them will pop up. Apparently, Lieutenant Virus streams on Thursdays and Ondog Games streams D&D on Fridays. Wednesday and Thursday a lot of times as well. King says, I spent 13 hours breeding horses so I could finally make the perfect Kingdra. That's some commitment, man. And at that point, you almost feel like you're a dog breeder, right? You go to your friends, you're like, look, I'll breed a Pokemon for you, $20 or whatever. Perfect IV, not a hack, Naturally done. I'll breed a perfect Pokemon for you, though, but, you know, come on, $20. You know, Virus, if, you know, for GR or for you, LT, if we're using abbreviations, if you do stream content and you want to be a part of what we have going on here, you are welcome to pop over. You're welcome to pop over. Oh, looks like we one of you might have popped over here for Ia. Are either of you Ia that have joined us? Anyway, if you come over here to Twitch promotions, if you do broadcast, you're welcome to share that. You know, I would suggest, you know, leaving a little, like a sentence or two or a blurb, or if there's a consideration. You know, if you do something that's like, it's a mature game or something, or, you know, whatever, you know, throw those little tags in there just so people know what they're getting into. But look, we're all here to improve each other. We're here to discuss things together so we're all better. Success isn't a zero-sum game itself. And you're welcome to interact however much you'd like. So if we do this, we have a +2 strength, 1 dex, 1 con, 1... Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh, shame on me. How dare I do this? We are a human, and humans are good at one thing. And that's putting one thing in each of our ability scores. We are a 16 strength, a 13 dex, a 14 con, a 14 int, because she is a smarty pants, right? 10 wisdom, and 12 charisma. Doing that this way, strength is 3, dex is 1, con is 2, int is 2, wisdom is 0, and charisma is 1. That looks better. The Awu has sent me back. I've not gotten into IV breeding yet, she says. I have attempted shiny breeding with a good ability in nature, though. Memory lapse, sun and moon breeding is easy. I have heard that, as well as chaining to get a shiny, or it's easier anyway. Have they added a mechanic to force shinies, or is it still... yeah, you can do some kind of a chain. Alright, our strength... Oh, actually, we rolled... She's level 12. You get an ASI, or an ability score improvement, at 4, 8, and 12. We rolled that all of those are going to be the stat bumps and not an optional feat. If we do that... we could bump up some things here. We can put, of the 3... Well, maybe we drop 1 in strength. And we can bring dex up by 1 point. And we can put strength up by 1 point if we want. Because look, even at this point, having a higher ability score in strength is useful. Because that increases your carrying capacity as well as dragging and lugging and all that. So if we do that, we can then put in... we can put in 2 more points somewhere else, and maybe we want to drop in points here. So that's her 3 stat bumps, which would bring her up to a 4 strength and a 3 con and a 2 dex. If you need me to explain any of these concepts, or wait, what just happened? Why are we distributing stats this way? What's the difference between an 18 and a 19 strength? If the modifier doesn't go up, stop me and ask me, and I'll make sure to address that. Memory Lap says, in about 15 minutes to half an hour, I can have what they call a flawless Pokemon. Mola Molkua, doesn't Sun and Moon give you an item for increased shiny chance? King says, it seems kind of ridiculous but reasonable. Everyone was just hacking in perfect Pokemon. Yeah, you know, there's a point where, yes, you know that it's a matter of pride, but there's even been people making it to Pokemon Finals, if I recall correctly, that it went on and it was found out that they had hacked Pokemon, and you're like, so why do that? Well, that's why they introduced the bottle caps. So you don't even need to raise perfect Pokemon yourself. You can just give them a bottle cap to make all their IVs perfect. You still have to EV train them, if I recall correctly, though. Eltron says, I haven't played a Pokemon game in years. I used to take damage cards from my nieces and nephews and draw new Pokemon on them. I need to get a handheld and new Pokemon games to pass the time when I'm downtime to write or draw. Sun and Moon is really solid, Eltron. I really enjoyed it. I played Sun specifically. King says, but in Sun and Moon, you can go into battles where one mom will call for others, or one mon. Shiny chance is much higher if they're called. King says, of course you have to EV train them. You don't get effort value if you don't value your efforts. 4 and 4 is 8 for our saving throw in strength. And our athletics is 4. What's the difference? Well, we are proficient, meaning that we're adding our proficiency bonus to our strength modifier. If we come down to dex, everything here is a 2 because we have no dexterity proficiencies. Constitution is going to be a 7. It is what it is. Int. So let's put saving throw 2, investigation 2, religion 2. Everything else is going to be 6 because of the proficiency bonus. Wisdom is almost all zeros except animal handling. So she can study wild animals and learn how they function and live and do whatever they're going to do. And charisma is 1 straight down. Initiative is a dexterity check, and therefore you get the +2. As One Crit Wonder did give a reminder in the channel as like the daily D&D fact, Jack of all trades applies to your initiative because it is a dexterity check. But she doesn't have that. Dark Wolf has Sun 2. Mola says, how did her strength go up to 19? She started at a 16. And so we put 1 ability score improvement into that to bring it to an 18. We put both points. Every ASI you get 2 points. It's either 2 in 1 stat or 1 in 2 stats. On her second one, we split it because her dexterity was at a 13. So then we brought this to a 14 and a 19. And then her third one, we brought her constitution up from a 14 to a 16. And yes, also, she was rolled as a generic human. So it was +1 to all her stats. As well, at the request of Memory Lapse, because we have such an odd character in that we rolled a child prodigy who's just too damn swole as a barbarian and as a sage. Memory Lapse says, instead of using this standard array of 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8, that we use the point buy system. And Bubonic One was doing some calculations on the side, and with the 27 point budget that you have to spend right here, I'm sorry, that's probably being blocked a little bit. Unfortunately, I can't scroll up without that hopping away. Anyway, so in the very beginning here, so we used point buy, and so she had a different starting stat, which is still balanced. It's just not the standard array. So there's a couple different forces at work, Mola, but that was the progression of her character as we were making it. You're welcome, Eltrion. Dark Wolf says, King, with Masuda method and an item called a shiny charm, chances are 1 in 512. All right, now that we have these numbers, we can fill in almost everything else, right? We can go through her armor class, right? She gets up in the morning, you know, she scratches her butt. She's like, "Oh, I'm just too good." Without armor, a barbarian has a natural AC of 10 plus Dex mod plus Con mod. So for her, just like rolling around in, you know, in whatever she has, is going to be a 15. Her hit points. At level 1, you get your maximum hit dice and hit points. Now, from here, you can do things in a couple different ways. I recommend going half plus 1 of your hit dice. It's slow, it's steady, and it's always in your favor. Some people or DMs may say, no, I want you to roll. In this case, we'd be rolling D12s for all of the other levels past 1. And you know what? You could end up with a big barbarian with a high con score, which gets a 1, 1, 3, 2, 1. Or you could get a barbarian that's 12, 12, 11. Oh, hit points for days. So it's something you should talk to your DM about, but I recommend standard array and half plus 1 for hit point progression. If that's the case, because she's level 12, we're actually going to go 11, right? We already have her first level. That's 12. So all of the other levels, all 11 of them, times half plus 1 is going to be 7 on a D12. One more thing, Jackie. Every level, so therefore all 12 levels, you get a bonus amount of hit points equal to your con modifier. Therefore, we have 12 times 3. And this is, as complex as our D&D algebra gets. So we have 36 plus 77 plus 12. So we have 89 here. This is going to be 95, 125 hit points. This girl's been drinking her milk and eating her Wheaties for sure. By the way, her passive perception is going to be 10 because it's 10 plus your perception modifier. That's your natural awareness. And her perception modifier right down here is 0. Now, to attack with her weapons, she has her examination pike. This is going to be a strength-based weapon, and she's proficient in it, so we're going to swing with a +8. This is going to follow through to the hand axes and the javelins, which in other editions, you're like, well, a ranged attack, why do we get to use strength? Well, in this edition, it has a rider on it, or a descriptor called Throne. Throne, yeah, you get to use your biceps and your muscles to hurl javelins and other things with the Throne quality. Therefore, you can use strength in its place. And we're going to give the bonus damage of 4 right over here. Bink, bink, bink. No spell slots. We can rage. I mean, if we want to put that here down in this optional area. Otherwise, look, we can rage 5 times a day. And while we're raging, we get an extra 3 damage, which is not too shabby. That's on melee attacks, by the way. 0 dark vision because we are human. And I think we have a character. Right? There's her personality. What a feisty personality, too. This would be a fun character to roll at a tabletop session. Especially because due to her age and inexperience, but, the fact that, she has this physical prowess and that she's, a smarty pants, you're almost role-playing as a Mary Sue character, even though you're not a Mary Sue character. Or hopefully you're not, or your DM doesn't allow you to be a Mary Sue. If you don't know what a Mary Sue is, well, you can ask in the chat. We'll cover it. What an interesting build. That girl's raised on that there cornbread. Farmer's daughter, that there girl. All we need is a name for this character. Do any of you have a concept? Like, what would we call this character? What is her name? Has she lost her normal name? Has she taken on just a totem name? A barbarian name? If she was kind of like 7 of 9 from Voyager, was she raised properly by these enlightened parents and taught the methods, but she has since been taken captive by the barbarians, and so now she's not, Elizabeth, Elizabeth Montgomery. She's not Elizabeth Montgomery. She is, Unga Bunga of, the Mammal tribe. Or is she just known as Eagle Girl, right? We rolled Eagle, actually, for her totem spirit and her aspect of the beast. So she could just be called Eagle Girl. That was her rising to power. Rogue Infinity thinks that her name is Froy Winters. We can do that. Virus says Inanna. So we can put Inanna Fairweather, Mary Sue Sky Eagle, says Bubonic One. And you know what? This could even be an interesting roleplay thing, right? So she has her name, and so maybe her name is let's do Froy Gwenera Winters, right? That was her birth name. Then when she was adopted by this tribe, she simply was known as Inanna Fairweather. Because that still sounds, kind of, you step outside and that's the first thing you see. It's very naturalistic. Maybe she was adopted on a very nice day. And then she actually has her totem name of, maybe not Mary Sue Sky Eagle, but she could be something like Swooping Eagle, or if we want, we can go Freedom Eagle, and she goes around just liberating the crap out of everyone. I say that tongue-in-cheek humor. This is an apolitical, non-partisan. But yes, like something like Sky Eagle can work. Or if we didn't want it to be an eagle, it could be some other bird of prey, a condor, or it could be oh shoot, what is kestrels? That would be a fun one too, wouldn't it? Because kestrels are actually like smaller hawks, and she's still a little girl, right? So what if her name is something like Keening Kestrel? Memory Lapse says most games you can be sure you don't want to be in with Mary Sue's or puns. Lieutenant Virus, Inanna was the Mesotopian god of beauty and war. I think an eagle is that description in spades. So here, so she has 3 names, right? This is her proper name that she might not ever be called again unless people recognize her back in civilization. To her tribe, she is known as Inanna Fairweather. To her, maybe just her medicine man mentor in the tribe or something along those lines, to her spiritual mentor or whatever, she has her, in her eagle form, right? As she's channeling, she's known as Keening Kestrel, or something along the lines of eagle, or some other kind of raptor. Because it's really like darting around kind of bird. If you even want to go, I don't know, like egret or something, or condor, albatross, maybe a gull. Maybe she's known as Laughing Gull. Maybe she tells really good jokes, and so that's her name. And so we have an eagle, and you're like, yeah, that's a BA bird right there. What if she's just known as Laughing Gull? She has the abilities, that's fine, but it's an expression of her personality. A pun is a mechanic that can be used to create an infinite loop. Yes. Yep. Oh yeah, or if we want to go mythical birds, you can invoke the rock. That's true. So we'll kind of go with her tribal name of Inanna Fairweather. Man, you are just so full of energy too out there in Chatland. Thank you all for for the input and the history and all that. Virus, I'm happy that you found us and that you're having some fun participating in what we have going on here too. Cool. Oh my gosh, we have 2 characters. Dun, da, da, da. All right. I'm going to get up and I'm going to take another break. I got to cool off a little bit. I'd turn on a fan, but it might make the background look a little weird because it'd be kind of like buttoned up against the green screen. I don't know. We'll see. I'll play around with it with the mic off. That way if I'm bumbling around, I don't accidentally say something I don't want to say. Cool. Oh my god. You are all wonderful. I'll see you in like 5 or 10 minutes. Go get some water, get up and take a potty break, answer nature's call like Inanna over here has. Do what you got to do. If you have, a pet, make sure you give them a scratch, a treat, tell them that you love the pet dearly. Because you don't want something to happen where you suddenly are facing, something tragic at the end and you don't have that opportunity anymore. All right, BRB.